You're looking at the great year. Some refer to it as the precession of the equinoxes. Others refer to it as the Yuga cycle. It also represents the zodiac. Now, all of this ancient and esoteric information has been around for millennia, been discussed from one end of the globe to the other. Ancient mysticism, ancient religious sects, the hidden mysteries, the mystery schools, secret societies are well aware of the great year. And I have studied this since 1989 because my graduate thesis was dependent on the precession of the equinoxes. Now what you're looking at is coming from Sacred Geometry International. The precession of the equinoxes, the Platonic year, has been observed that ancient myths, sacred texts, and ancient buildings have stored within them common and repeating numerical values and dimensions which relate to astronomical phenomena. Not only that, in recent decades, we have correlated geologic phenomena and ice ages with this great year, the Yuga cycle, right before your very eyes. The blue dots, one in which you're living on here, we are at the flexure point here, correspond to the onset of ice ages. And just 12,000 years prior, the end of the ice ages. The mathematics was broken down by Moten Milankovitch in the 1940s. And the celestial mechanics of our solar system was encoded with a year of 25,920 years. But I think that that year has been up in the air since I began in academia. Some consider a great year 24,000 years. Some consider it way more. But with the work of and help of Doug Vogt and his theory of multidimensional reality and the micronova effect, he found encoded in Hebrew scripture the date of 12,068 years. And if we double that, that brings us to a precessional cycle of 24,136, which many refer to as the Yuga cycle. And we have exited the Kali and entered the Dwapara Yuga, and we are now ascending through the Treta into the Satya. The Yuga cycle depicts a cosmogenic cycle which controls consciousness in humanity. And it brings us from the Dark Age or the Iron Age up through the Bronze Age into the Silver Age, culminating in the Golden Age. Now, the unfortunate thing is the Iron Cross comes out of this great year cycle. And 4 times every 25,000 or so years, cosmic catastrophe enters the picture. The flood of Noah, the forbidden fruit of Adam and Eve, all on the chart, all on the graph, continuing again and again and again to erase the memory, to instill the amnesia in the population that instills fear and allows slavery in the population. We need to be controlled because we don't understand what we are. If you want deeper insight into what you are, you need to study these charts deeply. Many people awaken to astrology, but they're only at the cusp. It's just the beginning. They're basically just studying the vocabulary of the reality. Astrology is the vocabulary of the reality of the effect of the vibration in our universe as it relates to time, and the only way humans can explain it. But you're living on a cusp, a Heinrich event cusp, which does not bode well for your future and the future of life on the planet. You see, the Yuga cycle and the Great Year, the clock cycle, they're all indicative of catastrophic events which happen regularly every 6,800 years. Now, Yuga in Hinduism is an epoch or era within a 4-age cycle. The Iron Cross denotes the 4 ages, which is where we get Christianity and all the other cross-type symbology. But it simply denotes the clock, the seasons. It's all scalable. The spiritual age devolved into the mental age, which devolved into the energy age, which destroyed the planet, and we will now ascend back into the cleanup phase. These things are all predicted. Ask any good astrologer and she will tell you the Mayan circle of 5,184 years corresponds to these 4 quarters, 4 cosmic catastrophe quarters. And the collective consciousness in the Yuga cycle is well known. We will inadvertently become psychic over the next 12,000 years. But will we survive? And I bring you to the tarot. Yes, the tarot cards. And the Wheel of Fortune card, which is ever indicative of the exact nature of our scientific endeavor. Over at Sacred Geometry International, the work that I have done my entire life, and others that have found this cosmic clock cycle in the geologic record, in esoteric knowledge, and in astrology in the Yuga cycle, it all overlays. And every single day we understand more about the vibration of the universe and our collective consciousness. We will get smarter. We will pollute less. The last time we were in a golden age was when the Sphinx was built, 12,000 years ago. We are now at the bottom. We are entering the next cosmic catastrophe, which will reset the cycle and allow us to ascend to our godly-like state. You have entered the age of Aquarius. The scientific and geologic data supports the Doug Vogt catastrophe cycle. It supports Diamond's pack hypothesis. It supports Sacred Geometry International's Iron Cross cosmic catastrophe graph. It supports the Yuga cycle. Everything is coming together. Solar micronova catastrophe is overdue. Subscribe to the channel. Share this with like-minded people. Times are changing. We have the data. You are living in a flexure point on the Iron Cross, which corresponds to major disruptions in global climate. When all of the remaining ice on Earth is melted, catastrophically, and it ends up near the equatorial regions, unexplainably. Are you preparing now? There will be an uptick in events before the event happens. It will not be while you're sleeping. We will witness it before our very lives. We are here to witness the changes. And it is imperative that this time we learn how to share that across the boundary. Join us. Thanks for watching. Be safe.